Christ is among us.
He is among us.
Have a seat for a moment. Believe it or not, it's been 10 years since I was ordained to be diaconate. And this is the first time I've ever had any real power. To be clear, Father Justin has asked that we give our little sermonettes, has given us the opportunity to give these little sermonettes, and he said for us to keep it 2 or 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes. Bless your all. So in this evening's readings, we heard a common theme, and I'm going to review that a little bit. But sin is a common theme that I heard when I was reading this over in preparation for this evening. One of the readings for today that you didn't hear was out of Isaiah. And out of Isaiah 5, we hear, "Woe to those who draw sin to themselves. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." We haven't seen any of that in today's world, have we? Woe to those who justify the ungodly for a bribe. And what is the biblical meaning of woe? I think anybody who's heard the word woe maybe sees in their mind, "Oh, woe is me, poor pitiful me." But the biblical meaning is very different. The biblical meaning for the word woe is literally destruction or calamity. So when you reread those words, calamity or destruction to those who draw sin to themselves, it gives a much different meaning to our hearts when we sin. In Genesis tonight, we see generational sin. We see Cain killed Abel, and then down to 7 generations at least, we saw sin and a separation or a wandering off from God. Specifically, Lamech told his 2 wives 7 generations later that he killed a man for hurting him or for wounding him. He may have killed 2 men, depending on your translation. And he said if Cain killing Abel resulted in 7 times 70, or 7 times 7, his sin would be avenged 7 times 70. And in the Bible, as we've seen in Matthew 18 with Jesus, 7 times 70 means basically infinite. If Peter asked Christ, how much do I have to forgive? And Jesus said 7 times 70. So Cain and all of his descendants wandered away from God. Indeed, they settled in the land of Nod. And in the land of Nod, that is translated as signifying a separation from God. And then Seth came along. And Seth was righteous. And his contrast to this is his devotion to God. And he raised up a place in place of Abel. So it can be said that Seth is a type of Christ's resurrection. Out of death, Abel's death, comes life, Seth, and his descendants. And indeed, Christ came from Seth's lineage. Okay, so from his descendants. In Proverbs tonight, we heard about the sanctity of marriage. It was put in very beautiful symbolism, if you will, but it talked about the sanctity of marriage and the consequences if we go against it or if we break those bonds. It also talked about the sin of a careless tongue. Specifically, for a man's own lips become a strong snare to him, and he is conquered by the utterances of his own mouth. How many times have we ourselves fallen into that kind of a trap? Okay, where the things that we say come against us. Whether we're talking about somebody behind their back or murdering somebody with our tongue. There's a lot of different ways that we can fall into sins with just using our mouth. All right? We heard in Proverbs just now that a man is bound by the chains of his own sins and that he is destroyed by a lack of discernment. So what is Lent all about? We are taught by the fathers of the church that we are to pray, give alms, and fast. Okay? What good is any of that if we continue to do our own will instead of the will of God? Okay? So in Isaiah 58, actually, if you read that, you'll find that if you are doing your own will while you are fasting, your fasting is basically useless. Okay, so be thinking about that during this Lenten season. If we pray, if we fast, we're charitable in our hearts. In doing so, the fathers of the church teach us that we put the pursuits of the demons at bay because our focus turns outward. We start looking to others instead of looking into what benefits us. And that's what's most beautiful and most important in this time of the fast. Christ is among us.